Right now on the National Weather Desk, record rainfall. The city that broke a 75-year-old record yesterday, and who is under the greatest risk of severe storms today. Mudslide threat. How would you like to live with this hanging above your home?
We don't see any happy ending to this story here.
Tumbleweed invasion. A movie-like scene plays out in Utah.
I don't think there's any way we can stop it from happening again.
Bringing forward the impact tomorrow night's clock change could have on your health.
Because the shifting is really what's harmful.
Amateur meteorologist. How you can help make weather forecasts more accurate.
The more data we have, the better the forecasts are going to be.
And we're counting down to this month's cherry blossom bloom.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning. Welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Emily Gracie. This morning we are tracking severe weather moving across the south. On Thursday, the storms brought heavy rain to portions of North Texas. Here in Dallas, more than 2.5 inches fell yesterday. That shattered a 77-year-old record for the day, when just over 1 inch of rain fell back in 1947. Well, today that system is moving east, and with it comes a slight threat of tornadoes, hail, and strong winds. The greatest risk is from East Texas across Louisiana, Alabama, and Mississippi. The system continues its eastward march tomorrow when North Florida, Georgia, and South Carolina are in that risk for severe storms. Well, in central and southwest Nebraska, the story is snow. As much as 9 inches could fall by the time the storm moves out this morning. Many highways are snow covered and impassable. In fact, part of I-80 was shut down this morning because of the snow. And wind gusts of 25 miles per hour are adding to that challenge of clearing the roads. The Los Angeles area has already surpassed its annual rainfall average less than 3 months into the year. While that's great for water supply, it's dangerous for people who live in communities prone to landslides. Michael Chen shows us a landslide lingering over a home and the homeowner now fearing for his life.
This is what came down overnight. Just rolled down.
In the backyard of Rex Huffman's home of nearly 4 decades, a boulder, some rocks, and a pipe.
So this was not like this yesterday.
Along with some new damage on his deck. Reminders of a looming threat.
It's like an ongoing train wreck. This is coming down.
This was the scene a day after that train left the station, when the backyard of a home on Titus Street began sliding down, a patio hanging precariously. Huffman's deck red tagged by city inspectors, while a lower room in his house, along with the house above, or yellow tagged. Access to them limited.
I'm not the most emotional guy, but this is emotional.
Every time it rains, the debris moves.
Has slid down further, inching its way probably 2 to 4 feet in the last couple weeks.
This metal railing has nearly reached Huffman's yard. A concrete slab has punched through his shed.
It's going to flow down, and anything in its path. So that's unnerving when you hear the plastic ripple. And sometimes stuff will come down with it.
Since the mudslide is on private property, the homeowners will shoulder any costs. Huffman says his insurance won't be covering any of it, but his neighbor has told him
his attorneys are working on some type of resolution.
He's coming up with a plan to reinforce the yard and halt the slide. Meanwhile, Huffman watches, waits, and worries.
I mean, it's a daily gut check. We don't see any happy ending to this story here.
All right, check this out. The videos look like something from a science fiction movie, but it was a real-life invasion of the tumbleweeds in northern Utah last weekend. Some folks are still cleaning up after the onslaught. Ariel Harrison has more.
That was just amazing.
Washington County couple Craig and Lynn Hedrick agree. The video of tumbleweed invasions in northern Utah is incredible.
I've never seen tumbleweeds like that where they just engulf a truck.
What they have seen, tons of tumbleweeds on their property.
Lynn, you shared with me this isn't the first time this has happened.
Oh, no.
Every time the wind comes up.
For the disabled vet and his wife, the cleanup feels constant, and it's become a real hardship.
I have 2 burn cans that I put in the backyard, one for each side of the house. I've been burning ever since Saturday, and I just haven't made
We still haven't barely made a dent in it.
While they live close to this 10-acre lot owned by Washington County Schools.
I don't think they all come from this one lot. I think they come off the hills and everything else around here.
When I reached out to the city and county on behalf of the Hedricks, they told me the weeds are a normal part of living in the desert. Up north, I spoke with South Jordan about its decision to help with streets and structures blocked.
It can put cities in a tough spot where you have to grapple with stepping in or not.
Yeah, because we had dealt with it back in 2021 and we realized it was just too much for our residents to handle by themselves, that's when we start getting into the situation where we step in.
Still left cleaning up from weekend storms, the Hedricks hope for more support.
I don't think there's any way we can stop it from happening again, but we could make it less impactful.
Well, you can't burn them all. You can't throw them all over the fence, and there're just so many.
We continue our countdown to the solar eclipse across America, now just 1 month away. Now, during the eclipse, a lot happens when the sky goes dark. Meteorologist Ed Russo looks at what you can expect and how you should prepare for this event.
Here's what you can expect if you are in the path of totality. You get to near total darkness, you experience a 360-degree sunset, animal behavior changes because they're seeing it turn night in the middle of the day. Temperature drops because of the loss of solar radiation, and one of the coolest aspects of the event is you're able to see the sun's corona, which is its outer atmosphere. So in order to view a partial eclipse, which we're going to witness here in central PA, and especially a total eclipse, you need a pair of special eclipse glasses. When you put them on, you're basically wearing a solar filter that allows you to safely view the eclipse. The filter blocks out all harmful radiation that would otherwise damage your eyes. Before using your glasses, you got to make sure that they're ISO certified. And that label is right on the inside of the glasses. And that's not good enough. You also have to look at the manufacturer and check to make sure that the manufacturer is a certified producer of ISO eclipse glasses. If you are planning on being in the path of totality, you may take the glasses off during totality. Only take the glasses off after totality begins and put them back on before totality ends. Totality only lasts a couple of minutes depending on where you are. If you experience totality, don't be surprised if others become emotional around you. After all, the event can be overwhelming as you are experiencing an astronomical spectacle, a meticulously choreographed dance between the Earth, Moon, and Sun.
Good info there, then. All right, and stay with the National Weather Desk as we count down to the days until that April 8th eclipse is just 1 month away. We'll also have much more on the eclipse posted on our YouTube channel. Just search the National Weather Desk and be sure to subscribe while you're there. Well, a few weeks before the eclipse, the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. will reach peak bloom. That's expected to happen between March 23rd and 26th, but weather between now and then could alter those days. Right now, the blossoms are in the second of 6 stages in their way to pink and white beauty. Meteorologist Mark Pena has more on what we can expect over the next few weeks.
Now, as we progress towards peak blooming, these are some of the factors that will play a part into when that happens. Warmer temperatures speed up the blooming process, which is definitely in our forecast. We have forecast highs over the next 10 days at or above average. Now, on the contrary, if we get a late season cold outbreak, that can also affect peak bloom as well, as the sub-freezing temperatures can damage the blossoms. And one of the more impactful ones that typically can happen is a heavy rain or wind event in the late stages that could make the petals fall sooner than they would if it didn't happen. Now, once we reach peak bloom, again, temperatures will affect that. We want it to be warm, but not too warm. And again, any kind of heavy rain event or thunderstorms can also affect the blossoms and make them fall a lot sooner than if it didn't happen. And then, of course, also some windy conditions will also make the petals fall, but hopefully that's not the case this year.
Well, stargazers, check this out. The oldest dead galaxy was recently spotted by the Webb Space Telescope. To date, this is one of the deepest views into the distant universe made with the telescope. The newly observed dead galaxy is billions of light years away from Earth. Studying it could reveal some new insights into the early universe and what affects star formations within them. Well, coming up on the National Weather Desk, we'll show you how you can submit weather information to the National Weather Service from your own backyard. And we'll take a look at how daylight saving could impact your health. As we head to break, let's take a look at the skies over snow-covered mountains in Utah.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have some well-deserved sun returning to the Northeast. Today, temps are starting in the 30s. Afternoon temps will surge back into the 40s and low 50s. Notice the lack of clouds. It's going to be a beautiful day. Now, as we head into Saturday, more clouds move in. Western parts of New York will get into some rainfall first. Up in the Adirondacks, you'll start as a little bit of snow. This next storm system brings rain, mountain snow, gusty winds, and the potential for coastal flooding late Saturday through Sunday.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Gerard Jabali. Here's a look at the Mid-Atlantic region. Friday starts out pretty dry, and we will see sunshine to begin, but there will be some clouds moving into the afternoon and evening ahead of our next storm system, and that will bring rain and thunderstorms to the area on Saturday. It's going to be a very messy Saturday, and temperatures will come down on Sunday as well. Friday looks to be mild, highs only in the upper 50s to around 60. It will still be fairly mild on Saturday, but much chillier air coming in on Sunday.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed looking at your forecast highs for today. We're looking at 66 in Raleigh, 69 in Charleston, Jacksonville 78 degrees, Birmingham 70, Nashville about 68 degrees, mid-80s down in parts of Florida. Looking at mostly cloudy skies across the southeast, but some severe storms moving in from the Mississippi River Valley. Strong storms over parts of Mississippi through Jackson, Birmingham, and Huntsville, getting some strong storms, as well as Atlanta as we get through the afternoon and evening on Friday.
You are watching the National Weather Desk.
Well, daylight saving time begins Sunday morning at 2 a.m., but did you know that 1 hour time change can potentially have a large impact on your health? Meteorologist Sam Copeland explains.
Spring fever gets kicked into another gear this weekend. While most welcome the change and view it as merely a minor inconvenience for our bodies, it could actually be much more.
So we have a central clock in the brain, and that keeps all of your body clocks aligned. A sudden shift in your light-dark cycle, then there's all of a sudden misalignment.
It's our circadian rhythm that is thrown off, for our inner clock of biological processes that happen around the same time each day.
So if you're trying to do something and the body's like, what is happening? We're not ready for this, then that can cause some negative effects.
In fact, the annual hour shift has led to heightened risks of mood swings, car accidents, hospital admissions, and even heart attacks, especially for those in vulnerable groups. So doctors recommend slowly weaning your body into it.
Maybe just try to go to bed a little bit earlier Sunday night so that you can get up that earlier time Monday without losing quite as much sleep.
Dr. Spaeth also recommends natural light, like taking a walk before work, to help synchronize your internal clock.
Our position is really that there's no need to shift, because the shifting is really what's harmful. But what we argue is that actually standard time is the better time for human biology.
Well, while that debate continues, remember to set your clocks forward, both your external and internal ones. Meteorologist Sam Copeland reporting.
Well, if you want to go more in depth on daylight saving time, be sure to check out this week's episode of our podcast, Off the Radar. Here's a short preview.
Daylight saving time strikes again. This Sunday at 2 a.m., we'll be springing ahead and losing that hour of sleep. We'll pull ourselves out of bed in the dark on Sunday morning with the promise of that late day sunshine to come. We'll convince our kids it's time to go to bed Sunday night, even when it's still light out. We'll slowly get used to the time adjustment, and then we'll switch back in November, putting our circadian clocks through the same confusion.
And you can find
or
Off the
will
Radar
we?
anywhere you get your podcast.
In recent years, there's been a push by politicians to go to daylight saving time year-round.
It's interesting because I think people have such strong feelings one way or the other.
This week, we are going off the radar to get some perspective on all this clock-changing business.
We know that getting more light in the early morning hours, like right after you wake up, sort of helps align your circadian clock to the normal cycle that's going on.
We'll check in with a sleep expert to find out what the best solution is for our health.
And you can find Off the Radar anywhere you get your podcast. New episodes drop every Tuesday. Well, as spring inches closer, you'll start to notice more bugs. And while we tend to think of bugs as pests, they also serve a purpose and can benefit our gardens. Mike Owen is in South Carolina with a look at what bugs are emerging there.
In March and April, pollinators like bumblebees and butterflies should begin to appear.
I saw 4 different species of butterflies already out when I took a walk around Lake Busby the other day, so those are wonderful. Bumblebees are very early emergers, and partly that's because they are, unlike most species, able to maintain a higher body temperature than the air.
You also might see one of the 163 documented dragon and damselflies in South Carolina. They eat other insects like flies and mosquitoes. And when it comes to mosquitoes, the state has a lot.
There's not just one species of mosquito, there's something like 76 that have been documented in South Carolina.
Another bug that you'll run into in the Palmetto State is the palmetto bug. It's actually a type of cockroach, and while it's not native to South Carolina, even it serves a purpose, cleaning decaying matter.
Insects are a vital part to our ecosystem. If you enjoy being alive, if you enjoy eating food that gets pollinated, you should thank your local insects, your local bugs, and most of the insects are incredibly beneficial.
And an arachnid that might startle you is the banana spider, which reaches its full size in summer and fall, but is not harmful to humans.
All spiders are predators, so they're the tigers and the lions of the insect world. So they eat a lot of bugs. If you don't like, the creepy crawlies that can come in, your spider is one of your main agents for biological control.
Well, not all bugs are good ones, though. The invasive spotted lanternfly is showing up in more places. If they get out of control, they could threaten businesses like orchards and wineries. Temi-Tope Adelaide has more.
An enemy of the Department of Environmental Management, DEM's Agricultural Pest Control Unit scraping and squishing the eggs of this scarlet, yellow, and tan pest known as the spotted lanternfly. Since landing in Smithfield, North Providence, and Lincoln in 2021, the invasive insects have spread to Cumberland, Pawtucket, Providence, Johnston, Cranston, and Warwick. They tend to go for apples and grapes, having a negative economic impact on orchards, vineyards, and other crops. They're hoping eventually birds will step in and help.
I've seen evidence of birds eating them, but it's not as common as some other pests that they would go for that they know are safe. So being new and being a bright red color, birds tend to avoid something they don't want to take a risk on.
Spotted lanternflies are also attracted to another invasive species, the tree of heaven. The flies lay eggs on any hard surface, including the undercarriage of vehicles, hitching a ride to new areas. Spraying started in 2022. It helped, but not enough. So the state will step it up for the next 2 to 5 years.
We know we're not going to get ahead of this population and get rid of it, but the best we can do is keep it away from our agricultural areas to kind of protect our economic productivity with our growers.
The DEM says with humans being the largest contributor to the movement of this invasive species, it's going to take a community effort to tackle this growing problem.
Well, did you know you can submit weather information from your own backyard to the National Weather Service? The Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network, or COCORAS, is a nationwide program that allows individuals to do just that. Meteorologist Christian Palacio explains.
Forecast models have gotten a lot more accurate over the past decades because of better data. And the more data we have, the better the forecasts are going to be.
Kevin Erb is one of the main coordinators of the COCORAS program for Wisconsin here at UWGB. He says the more people report weather information, the more accurate forecast models may be.
One of the challenges we have in Wisconsin in general is we don't have good information on drought conditions. And so last year was actually the first time that we had an extreme drought designated here in Wisconsin. And the National Weather Service says it's because of CoCoRaHS and other observers that reported soil conditions.
There are a significant number of observers in metropolitan areas such as Appleton and Green Bay, however less so in more rural areas. URB says they welcome people everywhere to sign up, and now is an especially good time to do it.
There's a nationwide competition every March to see which state can actually recruit the most new active observers. Unfortunately, Minnesota has beaten us every single year. We picked up about 128 last year. Minnesota picked up well over 600. But the observers here in Wisconsin tend to follow through.
The precipitation absurdity is a fun way to bring attention for citizens to contribute to climatological science.
All right, be sure to check us out on your favorite social media. You can find us on all those platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. We'll be right back.
Good Friday morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Andrew Buckmichael. Got some snow across the plains and rain across a lot of the Ohio Valley, working its way closer to the Great Lakes as we head into tomorrow and moving its way out to the east, with sunshine coming back out across the plains. Temperatures kind of mild for us there on Saturday. By Sunday, most of this precipitation is racing its way out of here, but we do have sunshine coming out across a lot of the plains, so pretty decent as we head into your weekend.
Good Friday morning. I'm meteorologist Joe DiCarlo. Look at our forecast across the region, and it's going to vary across the region. We're watching some snow here, Amarillo to the Texas Panhandle, hopefully helping those firefighting efforts in the Texas Panhandle. 40s for Oklahoma City today. Elsewhere, we're tracking strong to severe storms East Texas and Louisiana, Arkansas, and southeastern Oklahoma with temperatures in the 70s to low 80s. We're cooler across much of the region as the front moves through overnight. We'll see temperatures range from the 20s up towards Amarillo to the upper 50s around South Texas.
Well, hi there, everybody, and happy Friday to you. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. Out west, it's still chilly over Yellowstone National Park, just 31 degrees, not even cracking freezing around Jackson Hole today, versus low 70s for spring training in Phoenix. Back into the upper 50s in Portland, courtesy of a new disturbance pushing in, a warm front that's going to keep things a little bit milder as we head into the beginning of the weekend. And that's the scene from here.
Well, we have some NASCAR and Formula One races this weekend. Let's turn to meteorologist Brandon Lawson for the weather forecast.
We'll start with the F1 and IndyCar series. F1's actually on Saturday. They're in Saudi Arabia this weekend. Should be a fun race. 80s on Saturday. That race starts at noon. It's going to be hot on the pavement there. Should allow for some slick conditions for the drivers. Sun and clouds. Great racing on TV, though, for Saudi Arabia. St. Petersburg, Florida is where IndyCar will be this weekend. They race Sunday at noon. Great race there. Great forecast for it. 70s. Only a slight chance of a shower or storm. Let's get you to Phoenix. That's where the NASCAR Cup Series will be this weekend. They're in the desert. Again, with them being in the desert, probably won't see any shower chances there in Phoenix, although they have had some showers here over the last couple weeks and even some winds. Now, Phoenix looks good here as we go into this weekend. They've got ARCA Series Friday night. That will be nice. 100% chance of racing then. 100% chance of racing through the weekend for the Xfinity Series on Saturday and the Cup Series on Sunday. 70s throughout much of the weekend. A bit hotter and slicker on the pavement on Sunday with plenty of sun and temperatures in the 80s.
Well, thanks for joining us today. I'm meteorologist Emily Gracie. Make it a great Friday and have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you right back here on Monday.